Welcome to the Great Tithe Heist, where we unmask the folly of mandatory tithing and how ancient food laws were twisted into modern financial fleecing. Some use Malachi chapter 3 verse 8 for spiritual blackmail, claiming you are robbing God if you don't tithe. The source reality shows Malachi was addressing corrupt priests stealing food offerings, not the congregation's money. If you want to be biblical, bring a goat. The original tithe was 10% of the land's seed, fruit, or herd, as seen in Leviticus chapter 27, verse 30. God never commanded a tithe of monetary income. Wage earners were exempt. The biblical Levite forfeited the right to own land and assets. Modern leaders claim the Levite's paycheck without accepting their poverty restrictions. You can't have the cash in the castle. Deuteronomy chapter 14 established the tithe as a social safety net for the poor, widows, and orphans. They were the recipients. Today, demanding 10% from the destitute is a regressive tax that creates hunger. The first fruits fallacy claims it is the first month's salary. In truth, first fruits were a tiny ceremonial offering of the first harvest given once a year, distinct from the tithe and never a percentage of total income. Abraham tithed once after winning a battle, giving away 90% of the spoils of war, not his personal income. If you follow his example, you only tithe once in a lifetime after a battle. In Matthew chapter 23, verse 23, Jesus was critiquing legalistic Pharisees who obsessed over tiny details like mint leaves while neglecting justice and mercy. He was not commanding the future church to tithe. There is a missing link of 500 years of silence. From 33 AD to 400 AD, the church was supported by voluntary gifts. Tithing became a mandatory law only in 585 AD and a state tax in 777 AD. The curse of Malachi threat is a denial of the cross. Galatians chapter 3 verse 13 states that Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law. You cannot be cursed for not keeping a law that Christ fulfilled. There was no single tithe. There were three, totaling 23.3% per year. If preachers want to be truly biblical, they shouldn't stop at 10% and should use the festival tithe for parties where donors eat the food. New Testament economics shifts from the law of compulsion to the grace of freedom. The principle is found in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7. God loves a cheerful giver. Giving is measured by generosity, not by a calculator. Money should not necessarily follow the corporate model towards salaries and building projects. The biblical model directs funds to the needs of the saints, the poor, the hungry, and the widow. James chapter 1, verse 27 defines true religion as looking after orphans and widows. Stop the fleecing and start the giving. You are not cursed. God is not a bill collector. Generosity is a fruit of the Spirit, not a requirement of the law. Give generously, out of love, not fear. This video's claims are supported by historical and theological evidence, including works from Dr. Russell Earl Kelly and Dr. David Croteau, and historical records on the Council of Macomb. Review the scripture references provided.